So in today's video, we're going to be talking about investing in Fodder now that it's crashed for FUT birthday. So just before the video does start, a quick little ad on a trading service I offer over on Twitch for the cheapest trading guides out there for just £4, €4, all free with Amazon Prime. You'll receive daily trading and investing guides covering PlayStation, Xbox and PC with an array of methods covering all budgets. And I've been trading for over 10 years, making over 100 million in multiple different FIFAs, and now for the last 4 years I've made 10 million coins in just the first month. So in today's video, what we're going to be doing is we are going to be talking about how Fodder has crashed because of obviously all the packs opened last night for FUT birthday, but why it's a good investment and it should rise later in the week. So last night, as always, we got ourselves loads and loads of lightning rounds. Because we got ourselves loads of lightning rounds, Fodder has crashed. But as always, Fodder is normally a really good investment on the, Friday evening, Saturday morning, or even all the way up to Saturday evening. So let's go through the investment. So the one thing I'd like to say before we go into buying Fodder is that EA's kind of already told us everything we're getting this week. But that's not regarding the SBCs that are normally demanded. That's kind of, they've told us everything we're getting this week with SBCs that aren't really demanded. Because the reality is that the player SBCs isn't what rises Fodder nowadays. It's the upgrade SBCs, it's the icon and hero packs, and so on and so on. So they've only told us the player SBCs, so obviously we know that we're going to get upgrades. We know that we're highly likely to get hero and icon SBCs alongside. But I thought we might as well just talk about the content we know we're going to get. Now, yesterday's content that came out was pretty decent in my opinion in terms of SBCs. We got ourselves obviously top end SBC there as Socrates, and we got ourselves the top end SBC of Coman coming in at 750k and 1.5 million. The only problem is these didn't really rise Fodder. Obviously we get loads of packs being opened, but even the super high rated Fodder that is normally more immune to dropping still drops. Haaland went back in packs and went from 60k down to 53k, and 90s actually managed to go and drop about 4 or 5k. Luckily the 90s that aren't in packs of Benzema and Messi didn't drop, which means those investments were nice. And again, De Bruyne likewise didn't drop. So that's what's, I guess, slightly good maybe for the SBCs, is that the out packs Fodder didn't drop in the panic. But yeah, all the Fodder impacts did drop despite there being, I'd say, 2 semi-decent SBCs. Now the worry is that the SBCs to come don't look actually as good as the SBCs that have been released. Yoshida, if you're not aware, is literally a Japanese, obviously he's a bit of a Prem legend, I'd want to say, but he's a Japanese player playing for LA Galaxy. Now obviously he's going to receive like a 90 rated insane card, but the reality is, in my opinion, is that I just don't think he's going to be very well demanded, because again, these off-league players are normally very, very rarely demanded. We did have that off-league Ibrahimovic SBC a while ago where he played for LA Galaxy, but the reality is what are the odds someone's going to go and use a centre-back and have him awkward getting in teams rather than a striker. Now obviously top-end players are easier to get into teams nowadays because of icons, but I do worry about the demand. The Cloud Makalele can be very well demanded. I do think obviously a French centre-mid icon SBC can be pretty decent. So I'd say Makalele I'm looking forward to. Juan Cordado, there's only so much a right back, non-mainstream right back SBC I think can rise Fodder. They'll probably double 5-star him because I think he's already 5-star skills if I'm not wrong. But you need to have a massive card upgrade for there to really be any demand. Openda I don't think there'll be crazy demand for. Just because again it's one or the other. Harriet again will be another 5-star skills, 5-star weak foot, so they'd have to make him insane. But the problem for him is he's Moroccan, he's playing for Marseille. It's not a crazy amount of good Marseille cards. And likewise Morocco in the league, and obviously yes there is Hakimi. And finally we end up for Grimaldo. I can see there being good demand for Grimaldo, so happy days. They'll probably give him a centre mid position utility off the back of how demanded that Winter World card was, which they released. But again, I'd be a little bit worried because I think the only real demand is the Sunday SBC and the Grimaldo. But that isn't really what rises Fodder, is just why I'm not really going to recommend you high rated Fodder. The reason again I'm not going to recommend you high rated Fodder is because high rated Fodder really is only used for player SBCs, and bear in mind they've told us all the player SBCs that are coming. Unless you get, unless we have insane hero and icon SBCs that are requiring high rated teams over low rated teams with team of the weeks, which is what we've had as of recently. I just don't think we're going to see the super high rated Fodder do that well, which does suck because it did do well last year. But nonetheless, let's go and talk about the Fodder we're going to buy. First off, we'll talk about team of the weeks. We're not going to go and touch team of the weeks at the current price. So we got the 10 times 83 that's currently out. When the 10 times 83 expires today, if team of the weeks aren't needed, they're going to go and be a buy yeah, they're going to basically go and be a buy Saturday, probably about 10 PM, all the way through to Sunday morning, in the anticipation of them being needed for the Icon SBC coming out this Sunday. So, yeah, wouldn't want to go and buy them at 35. Let's say they drop down to like 27, 28 tonight. As long as you're happy to gamble on them being needed for the Icon SBC, which I think Icon SBCs next to always need informs, they'll be a good buy. That then leaves us on to gold-rated fodder. So the investments we're going to be covering are going to be 83s, 84s, 85s, and 86s. The reason for this is because, again, this is the very, very consistently needed, you know, fodder that's needed for Icon SBCs, fodder that's needed for 10 times 83s, fodder that's needed for player picks, fodder that's needed for party bags. Very rarely will you see a requirement above 86 rated. Every now and again you get the minimum amount of 87s, and there might be an 87 or 88 rated squad in the Icon SBC, but I would hold off these, just because if they're not needed for the Icon SBC on the Sunday, that's kind of your shot, you know, unless you luck out and they do 2 Icon SBCs in a row, or in 1 week, which is very rare. So that leaves us on to 83s, 4s, 5s, and 6s. Now, the one thing I would like to say is that I don't think 83s are an amazing investment at 900 coins when 84s are 1.4k. Because the value for money for an 83 is not really there when an 84 is 1.4k. Now, the value for money on an 83 is there when 84s are about 2.5k to 3k. We can see this because 83s did manage to go up to 1.4k, but they only managed to go up to 1.4k when 84s managed to go up to 2.5k. So basically there is no reason to go and buy 83s at the moment whilst 84s are this price, because 83s won't rise until 84s rise, and also 84s can rise without 83s rising. Basically meaning there's no point buying 83s when 84s are this cheap. So yeah, first investment you've got is 84s. It then moves on to 85s. I did say yesterday I didn't fancy 85s because they were 6.5k, but they've gone back down to 4.5k. And if we look at 4.5k, very rarely do they drop below 4.5k. So yeah, really, really nice price. And then finally getting underway with the 86s. And again, 86s are also really good value for money, only being 2k more than 85s. I would say it's interesting enough that 86s are required less than 85s as of recently, but again, I'd diversify your investment. Get yourself a bunch of 84s, get yourself a bunch of 85s, get yourself a bunch of 86s. Maybe what you do is you go and fill your whole transfer list up with 185s, and then go on assigned on 86s, or maybe you go and fill your transfer list up with 84s, and then go on assigned on, I don't know, 85s. But yeah, you want to diversify your investment amongst different ratings, because I can't guarantee that 84s are needed, I can't guarantee that 85s are needed, and I can't guarantee that 86s are needed. So if you buy a bit of each, it's very rarely that all fodder doesn't rise at least a little bit. So it's like 85s might go up, like double in price. 86s might go up like 10%. 84s might go up 30%. But then you've got, you know, you've hit the jackpot. But you know, if the other players were needed, then you know they would have banged, and the other players are still rising a little bit. So you want to diversify your investment. And again, yeah, 86s are looking all good, about 6.5k. And again, then on PC, what are we looking at? About 5k on PC, so yeah, that's about it. So regards to selling these cards, fodder normally always peaks on a Thursday after 6 PM. There's also a little tip and trick I have for you guys, and that is, if fodder doesn't rise after 6 PM on the Wednesday, normally what I'll do is I'll then sell in the pre-hype on Thursday, because Wednesday kind of simulates what happens on the Thursday. So again, if players don't rise after 6 PM on Wednesday, they probably won't rise after 6 PM on Thursday, which means you want to sell them into the pre-hype of Thursday. Whereas if they do rise after 6 PM on Wednesday, then they're likely to rise after 6 PM on Thursday. Yeah, and that's about that. So that's going to be the plan of action. Buy your fodder now, sell it on Thursday. If Team of the Weeks drop this evening, then you can also go and buy Team of the Weeks. Regarding super high raids, again, we don't really like the player SBCs. There's a chance they need for the Icon SBC, but I'll just buy it when the SBC comes out. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you guys later today with a video regarding buying players for EVOs.